Georgia, and that's where my whole family basically was. And then when I was in 4th grade, we moved to LaGrange, which is a much smaller town. It's like an hour south. I didn't know anybody, but everybody there knew each other. There were, really well-known families, and so it was kind of breaking into a culture that I just really wasn't familiar with. And I made friends pretty easily, which is easier to do when you're younger. But I was always a really shy kid when I was younger, and I didn't want to be outgoing. I didn't want to speak out. But then the summer before high school, so I had been in LaGrange for a couple years by this point, my next door neighbor was like, "You've got to get to work on a class t-shirt for the freshman class." And I was like, well, am I actually allowed to do that? Like, who's actually supposed to be in charge? And she said, basically, if you just stepped up and did it, then you were in charge. You self-selected yourself. And so I designed a t-shirt, and I just went to registration, set up a table, and started selling freshman t-shirts to the class. And so all of a sudden I was the person in charge of this. So then I ran for freshman class president, and then I was class president all 4 years up until senior year. And I was still really worried always about people pleasing, and I was still overcoming that shy factor and being comfortable being the person in charge. But I really liked it. I found that I really liked being a leader, and I liked planning things, and I liked joining people together. So I continued in college when I joined a sorority, picked up leadership positions there, and now I'm president of my sorority, and I'm in charge of 200 girls and all of their problems and everything. So I think over the course I really just found a love for leadership and improving leadership, improving organization, and like bringing people together, and then helping others become leaders, because I think that's a really important leadership quality, is finding the leadership qualities in other people and helping them become better. So I really want to find that in a job someday and help organizations better themselves and find those leadership qualities, and yeah. So after graduation, I definitely want to get into consulting. I got my first consulting experience this past summer. I thought it was really interesting working with clients, and it's kind of organized chaos in a way. It's a new thing every day, and there's always, curveballs and crazy things that come up. So it's a really interesting environment to work in, I think. And specifically, the experience I got was brand consulting, so it was still creative. We were still, always thinking about the little things like color or how the name sounds or what the company stands for. So it's kind of that top level decision making that is going to eventually affect how a person perceives a company. So I thought that was really interesting. So I definitely want to work for a consulting firm. I want to travel a lot. I'm used to traveling. So I think as much exposure I can get to new places as possible in the next couple of years would be great. And then I don't want to stay in it forever. I think I might want to find something that I experience along the way and stick with that. That's definitely for the short term exactly what I want to do. So if everything absolutely just completely utterly fails, I definitely still want to travel around and experience, just about as much as I can. I mean, I still want to do something creative, and I still want to do something that helps an organization just perform better. And I think that kind of goes back to the whole leadership and organization thing that I love so much. So maybe, falling more into something like that. I think there's always creative jobs out there to find, and whether it's, still finding another consulting, there's so many different types of consulting, but finding a different type of consulting, or maybe just starting a organization or starting a company could be fun. I've always struggled with the idea of being an entrepreneur, because I don't know if I could come up with an idea that could take off, but it's always a possibility. And then I would also end up loving to teach. I'm a TA right now for a leadership in action class, and I love that so much, and I look up to my professor so much. He started in consulting, and now he's doing that part-time while full-time teaching this class and teaching it to MBAs too. So it's obviously an important skill that companies are wanting to see now. So if I could teach, that could be so much fun. I used to originally want to be a teacher when I was little, so bringing that back, but throwing it in a business perspective could be really cool. So there's lots of opportunities, lots of options. I would do something.